There is a subtle rearrangement that happens inside some lives, not announced with fanfare, not bound to a calendar, but felt as an internal shifting of weight. It is the moment when your center of gravity moves inward, away from the identities you accumulated, in order to survive the world's demands. For the first portion of life, we busy ourselves with construction. We gather roles, opinions, armor, and explanations. We learn how to be visible in the way that the world rewards. Then, often without great ceremony, the project changes from building to revealing. Like a sculptor chipping marble, the work becomes subtraction. What is left is whatever was true beneath the accretions. Carl Jung observed this. He noticed that people who begin to individuate, who turn toward wholeness rather than performance, start to shed particular habits. These are not small quirks. They are the deep operating logics of ordinary life. How we defend ourselves, how we demand certainty, how we try to manufacture understanding, and how we display our spiritual credentials. When these patterns loosen, what remains is a quieter, less reactive person who no longer needs approval to breathe. If you find yourself strangely tired of the usual games, the endless explanation, the dogmatic certainty, the desperate demand to be seen, the performative spirituality, take heart. That fatigue is an invitation. Below are 4 habits that often fall away as the interior shifts. Notice them. You may recognize them in yourself. You do not have to force them out. Watch how they loosen when you stop feeding them. 1. The compulsion to justify yourself. We grow up in cultures that insist on explanation. Why you chose that job, why you left, why you aren't doing what everyone else does. Over time, the mind builds a courtroom in which you're always on trial, not by a real judge, but by an internalized crowd. You rehearse defenses, craft narratives, and spend enormous energy anticipating objections. The belief underneath is simple. If I can explain it well enough, I will be allowed to exist as I am. Awakening quietly undoes this. You begin to perceive that many listeners carry their own projections. No explanation you give will translate inside them. The compulsion to justify is replaced by a steadier sovereignty. You take responsibility for your decisions, but you stop performing for someone else's sense of safety. A new authority appears, not the pleading voice of justification, but the calm statement of a person who knows their reason and does not need constant ratification. You speak less to be heard, and more because truth needs saying. The energy you reclaim becomes material for creative work, rest, and repair. 2. The addiction to certainty. Certainty is a comforting fortress. It gives the tired ego something to hold on to. Doctrines, lists, clean answers. Many spiritual or ideological movements simply swap one certainty for another. The form changes, but the hunger remains. Jung named the capacity to bear contradiction as central to maturation, the ability to keep 2 opposites in view without needing to collapse them into a single truth. When the interior opens, the appetite for rigid answers dulls. Opinions you once defended with vehemence now feel like maps rather than territory. You trade the armor of being right for the lamp of curiosity. That shift can be disorienting. The mind protests, but what if I lose my moorings? Yet the person who learns to live with not knowing gains flexibility, depth, and a richer relationship with life's mystery. Saying I don't know becomes a posture of humility and wonder rather than of shame. 3. The demand to be fully understood. We carry childhood wounds that taught us, if I am not reflected perfectly back, then I am invisible. So we shape our relationships around getting the right reflection. We test partners, friends, and therapists, as if their perfect comprehension will finally certify our existence. This craving produces brittle dependency. Every misreading feels catastrophic. Yet mature consciousness makes a painful but freeing discovery. No one can live inside your skin. Even those who love you best will interpret you through their histories. The awakened person releases the tyrannical requirement. that others must fully mirror them. Instead of forcing understanding, they develop an inner capacity to witness themselves. They learn to accompany their own interior life, to be a companion to their thoughts and feelings, and in doing so they become less needy, more available to others, and more capable of genuine intimacy that does not demand fusion. 4. The urge to prove your awakening. This is the trickiest dissolving to watch, the manner in which spiritual insight is weaponized into superiority. When the ego acquires language about presence and practice, it can adorn itself with those claims and parade a new kind of status. I meditate more than you. I've transcended that emotion. I only eat the right food. These are not signs of depth, but of a new persona wearing the clothes of awakening. True maturation, however, tends toward ordinariness. The person who has genuinely shifted rarely broadcasts it. They show up to life's small duties, washing dishes, making a phone call, listening without fixing. Their spirituality is not a badge, but a way of being. The need to prove slips away, because the internal compass no longer requires external validation. Humility replaces exhibition, and service replaces sermon. Across each of these shifts, there is a common logic. The inner system moves from laboring to secure the self via external scaffolding to trusting its own authority and presence. This transition is not clean or painless. The old structures protest because they did their job. They kept you alive during storms. Be grateful to them, honor their role. But also notice how they now cost more than they help. What does this look like in your day-to-day? Small indicators. Sentences end where they used to spiral into explanations. You say, "I don't know," without panic. You stop replaying conversations to demand proof of being seen. The spiritual language you once wielded as armor no longer rises as a shield. Your breath lengthens. Your decisions take on a clarity that does not need defense. And notice who shifts around you. Some relationships will deepen because they were ready for your return to wholeness. Others will thin because they were held together by the scripts you are shedding. Both outcomes are part of the necessary pruning. It is not rejection, but realignment. The field around you now matches a quieter center. Be careful, too, of spiritual bypass. Releasing habits is not an excuse to avoid grief or to sidestep accountability. Letting go of needing to be understood does not mean ignoring harm. The wise path holds both, honest seeing of wounds and the refusal to make them the total story. Release and repair must go hand in hand. If you are listening and feel these habits loosening, consider this a small, gentle confirmation. You are moving into the next phase. You don't have to accelerate. The work is slow, patient, and often invisible. Your cultural scorecards will not grade you for it. The proof is in quieter dinners, steadier breath, fewer frantic defenses, and the odd moment when you realize you no longer care what strangers think about your trajectory. If this message landed with you, sit with the sensation for a moment. Name one habit from the 4 above that felt most present, and ask yourself what would happen if you didn't. Fix it today. If you simply noticed it and let it be. Small acts of permission, saying no without a speech, admitting "I don't know" out loud, choosing silence over explanation, doing a humble chore without announcing it, are the practical steps of this work. The path of individuation is not a path of becoming special. It is the slow art of coming unstuck from an inherited script so the deeper, truer self can be visible. Walk with gentleness toward the falling away. Let the silence do its work. The new shape emerges not by adding more, but by being willing to lose what is no longer necessary.